Picture a parking lot outside a grocery store. In one spot, a guy climbs out of a beat-up old sedan, sun-bleached paint, a dent nobody fixed, a cooler bag with a homemade lunch on the passenger seat. A few spaces down, another guy steps out of a brand new leased SUV, dressed head to toe in recognizable labels. Here's the twist. One of these men may have a couple $1,000,000. The other may be one bad month away from trouble. And if I asked you to guess which is which, most people would guess wrong. That's the whole point. Real money has gotten very good at hiding in plain sight. So today, we're going through 10 habits that quietly reveal real wealth, even when everything on the surface says otherwise. The numbers nobody believes. Here's a stat that surprises almost everyone. There are around 24 million millionaires in the US, roughly 1 in every 15 adults. Sit in a busy cafe and, statistically, a couple of people around you could be millionaires. Could you point them out? Almost nobody can, and that's why this matters. Researchers call this the millionaire next door. The typical American millionaire isn't necessarily a celebrity or someone who inherited wealth. It can be a small business owner, teacher, electrician, or nurse who built wealth through saving and investing. Remember, income isn't wealth. Income is your paycheck. Wealth is what's left after spending, multiplied by years. A high earner who spends everything can have little wealth, while a lower earner who invests consistently can become richer. Sign 1. The car says nothing. The fastest way to misjudge someone's finances is to look at their car. New cars can cost more than $50,000, while monthly payments stretch for years. That's not wealth, it's paying to look wealthy. Genuinely wealthy people often do the opposite. A $2 million net worth might mean driving a $20,000 used car for a decade. They often choose practical, reliable vehicles because a car is a tool, not a trophy. Sign 2. The house is smaller than the budget allows. Walk through expensive neighborhoods, and you'll find plenty of stretched budgets behind impressive doors. Genuinely wealthy people often do the reverse. They buy a comfortable home that costs less than the bank says they can afford. Every extra square foot brings more taxes, maintenance, utilities, and money tied up in an asset that may not grow as efficiently elsewhere. One of the most famous examples is a legendary investor who still lives in the modest house he bought decades ago. He could afford almost anything. He simply kept the house that already worked. Sign 3. The wardrobe gives away nothing. Genuinely wealthy people can be surprisingly difficult to identify because they don't need clothes to advertise their success. No giant logos, no recognizable watches, just well-made basics that last. Ironically, loud branded spending often comes from people trying to look successful, rather than those who already have substantial wealth. This is sometimes called stealth wealth. A plain sweater, unbranded bag, and durable shoes tell you almost nothing about someone's bank account. That blankness can be the tell. Sign 4. They go quiet when money comes up. At any gathering, someone usually talks about what their vacation cost or how much they spent on a renovation. Genuinely wealthy people rarely need to narrate their spending. Partly, that's strategy. Talking about money invites comparisons and unwanted requests. But often, money has simply stopped being exciting to them. It has become background infrastructure that allows life to happen. Picture a retired business owner who simply says "retired" when asked what he does. You might never guess that he owns property generating substantial rental income. Sign 5. The money you'll never see. This is the real engine behind everything else. Wealthy people often funnel money into retirement, health savings, and investment accounts automatically. The trick isn't extraordinary willpower, it's automation. Money leaves the paycheck before it reaches checking, so it isn't available for impulse spending. A nurse driving a hand-me-down car and packing lunch may quietly have significant wealth because her money lives on an investment statement, not on her wrist. Sign 6. They owe almost nobody anything. Americans carry enormous credit card debt, often at extremely high interest rates. Unpaid balances can make ordinary purchases dramatically more expensive. Wealthy people may use credit cards heavily for rewards, cashback, or travel benefits, but they typically pay the statement in full before interest applies. Expensive debt gets eliminated quickly. Low-rate debt, such as an old mortgage, may be kept when investing the available cash offers a better long-term opportunity. The result is simple. Someone who owns nothing flashy and owes very little may be far wealthier than they appear. Sign 7. They stay calm when something breaks. Watch how someone reacts to bad financial news, a broken transmission, flooded water heater, or sudden job loss. For many households, one unexpected expense becomes a major emergency because their financial cushion is limited. Genuinely wealthy people often respond differently because they keep months of expenses in savings. That emergency reserve provides something more valuable than interest: breathing room. Two people can have the same balance, but one may earn more simply by choosing where to keep it. Sign 8. They buy the good version. Once. There's a spending pattern in wealthy households that initially looks like spending more: quality boots, a solid table, or a reliable appliance. The difference is what happens next. They keep those items for years. Someone buying cheap products repeatedly may spend more over time than someone who purchases a durable version once. When something breaks, the wealthy mindset often asks whether it can be repaired rather than immediately replaced. It looks frugal. In reality, it's a sophisticated way of controlling lifetime spending. Sign 9. They're completely fine saying no. Pay attention to who can easily decline things. Wealthy people may skip an expensive dinner, destination bachelor party, or unnecessary upgrade without making excuses. People often interpret that as they can't afford it. The truth can be the opposite. They can afford it, but they've learned to spend heavily only on things that actually matter to them. Lifestyle creep, increasing spending every time income rises, can quietly destroy wealth. Someone who receives a major raise but keeps the same apartment and car can direct the difference toward investments instead. Sign 10. They've stopped trying to look rich. Here's the sign that ties everything together. At some point, genuinely wealthy people may stop performing wealth because they no longer need to. Money doesn't necessarily buy a louder car or bigger house. It can buy time, flexibility, and freedom. The ability to leave a bad job, reject a bad deal, or take a Tuesday off without asking permission. People with that freedom often feel little pressure to join the status race. That's why they can look so ordinary. Go back to that parking lot. The guy in the leased SUV with fresh sneakers. The guy in the old sedan with his lunch packed from home. You can probably guess which bank statement the numbers favor, and it's rarely the one everyone applauds. All 10 signs point to one idea. Looking rich and being rich are different skills. Truly wealthy people understand debt, investing, taxes, and systems that make smart choices automatic. That's the foundation. And it's always a good time to start building it.